Hey guys, Jin Graves here again. I was just going to show y'all my to keep shelf. Kind of pick y'all's brains on some of the series that I've actually kept here at my house. These are ones that I have really enjoyed and have just kept because they were such great series. And I wanted to make sure that I could still show them off in my home, even though I have to move some of mine out from my library that I had before, redoing that room into something else. But anyway, I'm gonna show y'all quickly what it is. Um, so, Monster Musume, that's up to date, pretty good. I was actually thinking about not including that in the series and not putting it on the shelf, but I kind of wanted to put it up there because it was the first actual like Monster Girl one that I really enjoyed. Started out reading. So the first one up here is Monster. This one is a good psychological series. I really loved it, and we have all 9 up there. It's completed, and let's see, we have Is It Wrong to Try and Pick a Girl Up in a Dungeon? This one should be up to date until a new one comes out. Hopefully it's here soon. We also have Log Horizon. This one I have volume 7 over there. But I don't have enough room on this shelf as of right now. There's some stuff lower down on it that's taking up part of the shelf, and I actually need a second shelf to kind of move this over to. But my other shelves right now are actually filled with ones that I need to actually read. So farther down we have How to Build a Dungeon, Book of the Demon King. That one I actually got volume 1 and 2, and it was kind of raunchy, just saying. I enjoyed it, except almost every chapter has something crazy in it. And my big flaw, character flaw, is that whenever I kind of start something, I have to kind of finish it. And so I'm going to finish that series, even though I'm kind of sketchy about it, I guess, because I'm not sure where it's going exactly. Remonster, that's also over here, volume 3. Love this series. It's one of my favorite ones so far. It's just really good, and it's moving pretty good. Yeah, so both of those ones are actually over here in this set, right there on the top and the second from the bottom, both volume 3. They're keeping pace with each other pretty well. Konosuba, God's Blessing on the Wonderful World. This one actually I think is up to volume 6. I'm waiting for that one to come in, and I'm sure y'all will see it in a manga haul video at some point. But this one is pretty good too. A lot of these ones, if y'all were looking at it before, are actually pretty close to dungeon crawler ones, and I really enjoy a lot of those. And some of them that aren't on this shelf, don't think I don't like them or anything, because I really love manga a lot. I would tell y'all if it was a series that I was like, whoa, it wasn't that great, just because of how much I read. But it is kind of crazy because I play a lot of monster games and whatnot, so I just have really liked the dungeon crawler ones, and that's kind of what I'm sticking with as far as on the shelf, and the more psychological ones that are really good. Here in the back is Bakuman, and this should be all of them, 1 through 20. That is a really good series. I loved it. Loved Death Note, but I didn't leave it on this shelf. You'll see Platinum End down here. Platinum End, I'm actually enjoying more than Death Note. I hate to say it, but the concept of it is just so different. And I think maybe one thing that's kind of factoring into that is the fact that everybody kind of beats Death Note like a dead horse to tell you like you should read it all the time. And after hearing that for so many years and being a manga collector, and everybody saying, "Oh, you should read this. Have you read this?" Da da da. It's kind of grown a little old, but I have still enjoyed that series a lot. Platinum Inn is kind of the flip side of it, and I think that's kind of why it's on here. Probably later on it'll get moved in when I can get my collection all settled and whatnot, and put it right there beside Death Note, just because of how good it is. Delicious in Dungeon. This one was really good. Cooking and or dungeon diving. It's really good. Sweetness and Lightning is right there. Both of those are kind of food-based manga. They're really good. I got some of the Monster Girl Encyclopedia stuff too, and I bought the first one without really knowing. Actually, I bought it because of ones like Monster Musume and some of the other ones that have come out about Monster Girls, and I thought it was going to be different than what it was, but yeah. And as you can see, I got the second one too, which is also kind of going off of the whole Fatal Flaw thing, because I really want to just finish those coming out, even though they might not be as great as they are, or might think they are. Sekirei, I got the first three right now. This series I love, mostly because of the anime, and I'm keeping up with the series for it because the anime never had a season 3 come out, and so I'm trying to keep track of basically these manga volumes. That way I can be up to date with those and make sure. There's been a couple of little like changes in it, which that's going to happen with any kind of anime and manga. Mostly they don't all go exactly in line, but hopefully with 4 and 5 coming out, we will be able to get farther in that and kind of see where they go from where they were before with the anime. 5 centimeters per second. Really love this one. It went with one of my other ones that's on here. Let me move these ones down here. It's right there. I'll have to move the other ones for you here in a second. No, there's all 11 of them right there. Flowers of Evil, I just loved. I thought was great. And 5 meters per second actually reminded me a lot of Flowers of Evil. I read them one after the other, Flowers of Evil, that is, and then I basically read 5 meters per second, and I thought that they basically went together. There were parts when I was reading 5 meters per second, I actually got confused and thought that I was reading Flowers of Evil again. Limit is pretty good. It's really good. It's one of those that I don't think a lot of people know about or have read, but it's really good. Try and pick that up, and it's super small. I got that Log Horizon one right there, which is just the first one that they made for it to get you into the series, and that one's actually more of like a regular size manga, but the Limit is just so small. No Longer Human. Love that series. I was tired and I started that the night before, and I ended up staying up till 4 in the morning just to get through the whole series. It was so good that once I started reading it, I couldn't put it down until I finished it. And yeah, it just kept me up till 4 in the morning, and I was sitting there with the last chapter just tired as all get out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna finish this. I'll do it. I can. And I finished it, and it was great. Loved it. So I would recommend that strongly to be picked up. It's kind of one of those ones that goes with Monster and Flowers of Evil and stuff. So let me go back up here to that top shelf again, or that second shelf. I have Suikoden 3. This is one of the best series that I've ever read. It's one of the first series that I collected all of when I first started collecting, and you'll see that those ones are wrapped. So I actually wrapped those and was going to take those to my storage room and was like, no, I think I want to keep those. And they were actually the first ones I added to the shelf because I wanted to keep those so strongly. But it's a great series. I think everybody would love it, and it kind of is supposed to go off the video games, but I'm not 100% with that because I don't know. I've never played them. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash, 1, 2, and 3. That one's totally complete. It was great, and I was upset that they ended it at 3. I got the third volume, and I was just so upset that they ended it that way, and I was like, why? It was such a great series. So I am a little upset that that one ended, but it was still great. I would pick it up, but probably read some of those other Dungeon Delver ones, just to keep you going after you get done with those, because that one will pick you up and then kind of let you down a little bit. But it was great. Deltora Quest. This one was really good. I actually read the books when I was in middle school, because they have chapter books that are based off of it. And I didn't get too far into those, except for reading the back of them and maybe getting to a couple of chapters of each. But after sitting there and reading this series, it was really good, and it made me want to go back and read those chapter books for it. So, give me 1 second. Right here we have a silent voice. That's complete. A silent voice. I've seen everybody start having this one, but it just told me how good it was. I actually ended up buying this one because I started seeing the stuff from Yoshitaki, or however you say that name, but I have been reading their Into Eternity, and it was really good, the first one, so much so that I ended up buying all 7 of these volumes just so I could read that series. And after I read it, I was like, this is a really good series. I think I'm going to just add it to my shelf because of how good that was. Let's see. We already did Platinum End right there. The Girl from the Other Side. That is so good. Me and one of my friends are actually having a huge talk about it. Because of how great that one. The art's great in it. The story's great in it. And it's really... I would say it's written more of like a child aspect, kind of like Sweetness and Lightning here. It's kind of like you're going from a little kid aspect, and that's kind of what The Girl from the Other Side does, but it held strong and is one of my favorite series, especially because of the art. It's great as well, and I mean, almost every series on the shelf will be great in some way, at least, in my opinion. To the Abandoned Sacred Beast, right there on the bottom. It's really great. I like how they took the aspect of changing all these military guys to win a war, changing them into these sacred beasts, like dragons and centaurs and all this different stuff. And every soldier basically took on one aspect of one of those creatures. And it's holding up. It was another one that I questioned about putting on here, but I enjoyed the first couple books so far that I just went and added on here. 4 was really the volume that I was kind of contemplating about putting it on here, but 5 really did it justice, and so it kind of tipped the scales for me to say, yeah, I'm adding it on the shelf too. So let me get behind here real quick. We have Overlord. Overlord is a really good series too. I've been enjoying that. It's I would say probably a lot better than How to Build a Dungeon, just because it focuses more so on the story and not so much on the raunchiness. Goblin Slayer was really good. I enjoyed that one, and I've been seeing some of you other manga tubers picking it up. It was great, and I'm not really into reading light novels and whatnot, but this one made me want to try and get into that light novel for it. I'm a Spider, so what? That one is really good. It's another reincarnation one, kind of like Remonster and whatnot. But it's really good too. I think people would enjoy it as far as it goes, and it's a lot cuter than some of the other series that are on here. Rising of a Shield Hero. Love it. I took me forever to pick it up, and so I ended up getting all 7 of the volumes right there all together, just because I didn't know how I was going to want to read this series. But I ended up getting those, and it blew my mind, especially after reading the first part and the main character not so much being seen as a hero. When you read it, that's kind of one of the things that happens is he doesn't always get seen as a hero, but at the end, after every little thing he starts doing, you can just tell that he's the hero. So let me put this stack of books back real quick, and we'll move over to the end of the shelf. My Hero Academia. This one I actually ended up having to put it on here because of Volume 11. It was so good, and I'm sure a lot of y'all are reading the series. This one and One Punch Man, because they're really good. One Punch Man I didn't add onto the shelf though, just because of it's not as in depth in the story as My Hero Academia is, and so I decided that I would put that one away with the other books and until I could get my storage room settled around and do some videos up there for y'all. But this is another one that I would totally tell everybody else to read. It's actually supposed to be one of the manga that is supposed to kind of get up there to replace the big three, which as far as y'all know, Bleach is actually getting ready to be done in the manga anyway, and we are going to lose the second of the big three, you know, Naruto being the first and One Piece being the third. And it's one of the other ones. I hope it goes just as far as those ones. I also have Fairy Tail, and I completed that one all the way up to the last volume. And hopefully this one can get up there in the 60s as well, but we'll just have to wait and see where that goes. But yeah, all good series. I'm going to go down the shelf and then kind of move these ones while I'm talking about the other one. That way we can come back and get ready to be done with this video. So down here on the bottom, we have Vagabond, and these are all the big omnibuses for it. It's really good. I really enjoyed this series too. It's one of the few. A lot of people that I've been watching on YouTube or talking to have been telling me that Blade of the Immortal is just as good as these. And these ones are kind of based off of Miyamoto Musashi's life. They are just great. And I really enjoyed the series. I really hope that they finish coming out with them, and that it picks up a little bit, because I've also been reading Berserk. I'll show y'all real quick. This is some of there's a table right in front of me that's actually what I've been wrapping some of my books on. But Berserk's right there. But as y'all know, like, Berserk comes out really slow, and I really hope that Vagabond kind of picks up, because I know it's getting close to the end too. But yeah, that's about it. I also have 12 Beast on here. This one is pretty good. It comes out really slow, but no judging that, I guess. It's great. I'm kind of, I mean, it's like any regular manga that takes a little while to come out. You know, you're not going to get one every few months, but this one's kind of slowly coming out probably about one every year. So hopefully it'll pick up a little faster than that. So anyway, and then we have Cold over here. I got this one too. I ended up enjoying this one a lot. I tried to figure out if there was anything else with it besides the video games, because those are kind of weird. But Cold was great. I loved it. It kind of scattered a little bit for me. After reading the first one, the second and third one kind of become their own arcs, and then the fourth one becomes its own story, and the fifth one becomes its own story. And after that fifth one, it's actually complete here in the States just because it went on hiatus. So it's hiatus complete. But it was really good. I really enjoyed the first one, and it's one of the series, just like Suikoden 3 that I showed you on the shelf above it, that was just as good. And this last one here at the end, The Garden of Words, it was really good. It took me a little while to read it, but I really enjoyed that one. It is really good, especially to be a slice of life one, and just to kind of get into it, as far as um, meeting somebody that might be a really good friend out of nowhere, just because of something you may do. But anyway, that should be it on this shelf. Um, Hopefully, I can add some other ones to it that y'all may like, may dislike. Hopefully not. But we will have to see on that. And if there's any other things, like if y'all want me to go in and tell y'all what I like about certain series that are on the shelf, or anything like that, or recommend some other ones to me, we could see about that. Just leave me a comment below or something like that. That way I can figure that out. And I can tell you, if I own the series, I might already own it and just haven't gotten to read it yet. Because I do have two other shelves that are full up to the gills of manga that I haven't gotten to read yet. Or maybe it's a series that I haven't gotten to read, I haven't even purchased yet. Maybe it's on my list, and maybe you can change my mind and make me move it up. It could be the manga I read tomorrow. So just send me some comments below, and we will try and see where this whole manga thing goes from here. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Jen Graves signing out.